Hello, tubers. This is Brent. About 2.5 weeks ago, I did a video about sending a promissory note to the ANZ Bank, and I also said at the time that I had a bit of a debt with another debt. Actually, this debt's with the government, as we probably all have. I decided over the weekend actually last week, that I've had no response or that from ANZ. I remember when I had, what's the word for it, defaulted on paying my loan back. And they called me. They called me every day. Sometimes 2 times, 3 times a day. If I ignored the number, if I ignored them, then they just keep calling, and it was always a private number. So, I have not had a private number call me for a long time. Anyway, because what happened was, when I went into default, I did get they called and eventually I did answer them, and they offered to put me on a hardship thing, and because at the time I wasn't working, I had work, but it was really fickle, I think I did a couple of trips east, but there'd be 3, 4, up to 5 weeks in between trips, so of course I wasn't. And obviously the repayments on the loan were, I wasn't making enough money to do that, so I never paid it. And of course they call me, every day, and so they put me on this hardship thing, which I don't know if that's what they call. I can't remember now, but basically they gave me 2 months grace to. That I didn't have to make payments or anything until I got a job and everything, got some work. And so that was cool. Well, that 2-month period was up on the 24th of August, which is 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And they haven't called me about it, because I called them to get the total outstanding, on the loan, so that I knew exactly what I had to pay, and that was what I made the promissory note out for, was exactly that amount. And of course I sent that away. As I said, I addressed it to the CFO of the Australian New Zealand Banking Group, and registered mail, everything, but if they hadn't accepted it, if it hadn't been delivered, I checked it and it has been delivered, because it was registered mail, so it had been delivered, and of course obviously it was addressed to the proper officer. So they do accept mail, that type of mail. So, and it was addressed personally. It was addressed specifically to the Chief Financial Officer and of the ANZ, group. So, there's no doubt they have received it. I haven't called them back to get a balance on the account, mainly because I just don't want to put a ripple in the pond just yet. So I'm just with their history and you know, like the way they deal with like default. They haven't been on the phone at all, and of course that hardship thing program that ended on the 24th of, what did I say, the 24th of August. So that was finished 3 weeks ago. What's today? Today it's the 16th today, so 16 and 17 is 20, so it's over 3 weeks ago. So, but I haven't heard a thing. They haven't made a call. They, you know, look, although I don't know. I mean, I have not received any private number. I'm not getting private number calls every day like I was when they were chasing me. So, I'm going to. I shouldn't do this, I know, but well, I'm not going to actually. I'm not going to assume that it's done what I hoped it to do. What I'm going to do though is now today I'm going to make up one to send to the government to take care of a debt that I have with them. And that debt's quite a little bit more. It's not a whole lot more, but it is more. And what I want to do with that is, get that done today. Then once I've, sent it off and that, I'll let you know. I'll give you, I'll do a video on the copy of that and how that, with the end product and what I did, and going back and getting my signature witnessed at the police station, making copies and posting it registered mail. But before I do that, obviously I've got to find out who to send it to. I feel I've got to address it to an individual, okay, like this chief financial officer or whatever they call themselves in the government departments. Anyway, I'll catch up with you when I get that far down the track. When I've got that completed, I'll be back. So signing off in the meantime. Okay, I have done that. Done the promissory note for the government, and I have here, and unfortunately I've got a copy of it, but I've put the copy away. But anyway, here's the promissory note. Okay, so it's actually just the one I printed off before. And the one that you can see that it's got the details and everything in it for the child support. Woohoo. So we'll see how that goes. I called them today, got the total and the address to send it to. So but anyway, we'll wait and see. I imagine I'll get a response from this one pretty quickly. So it's not going to. I got a feeling that they're going to think I'm swindling them. Which, well, I'm not, because at the end of the day, child support's nothing but a scam anyway. Anytime the government gets involved in anything, it's a scam. It's all about commerce, and so anyway, I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel like I'm swindling them or anything like that. I mean, I just feel it's a fair transaction. Bearing in mind that these guys are the ones, the government that are the ones that created the Act or the Bills of Exchange Act in the first place, which are what gives promissory notes their power, if that's the term. Anyway, now we'll back to the waiting game, and we'll just see how that goes. But as I said, the bank, I haven't heard from the bank for 2.5 weeks. I know that they have received it, and but again, it's like in a month's time or so, I'll just call them and ask them for a balance. and then we'll see how we go. But I do have the collection details on the promissory note, which they may show up to get yet on the I think it was the 7th next month, or the something like that. Yeah, I can't remember now what date it was, but I'll have to go back and check that. Anyway, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks for watching, and have fun.